Well, there's a brotherhood in pinstripes, a bond spanning generations, and over the course of time, Yogi Berra and the great second baseman Willie Randolph forged that kind of bond in a variety of settings. We see at a golf tournament. I'm not sure Yogi loved Willie in the Orioles uniform there, but we can ask Willie about that as he joins us now. That's a much better picture at the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center. Willie joins us now, and we're sharing a lot of great remembrances of Yogi today. What jumps to your mind today, Willie?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the uniforms. When I was in the Met uniform, Yogi would honor me by stopping by the clubhouse before the game, and we would sit and talk baseball for forever, man. I'm like, Yogi, it's 50 minutes before the game. I got to go, man. But, just an honor for him to just take time out of his day and just come over and just spend time with me and share with knowledge. I'm just going to miss him so much, man. What a bittersweet day.
Willie, within those conversations, and I know there were probably hundreds of them, are there some Yogi memories or some recollections or reflections that are going to stand out to you, especially on a day like today?
Well, yeah, I revert back, Jack, to my first met Yogi as a young player, 21 years old. He and Elston Howard were joined at the hip, as you know, and if you saw Yogi, you saw Elston. And I just remember him taking me under his wing and just talking baseball. That's kind of the way Don Zimmer was later on, with the Yankee youngsters. But I remember he stiffed me for a cab one time. We were in Chicago, and he pulled the okie doke. He got out of the cab and left me there. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm digging in my pocket for some change. And he just loved needling and doing stuff like that. And then, like I said, later on, I just shared the story about just now where he just stood with me that day. And every time we came into town, every time we played in the Subway Series, he would stop by and we'd just talk baseball. And he would give me his love and his knowledge. And so many Yogi stories. But just his friendship over the years, being at the golf tournament at the Yogi Berra Museum, where he loved the museum, and he just was always in his element around people and sharing with people. It's just so many fond memories. But like I said, as a friend, as someone that taught me a lot about the game, I'm going to miss him terribly.
Yeah, Willie, David Cohn here. Thanks a lot for coming on for us here today. I know that you and Yogi were very close, as you said, in a lot of different levels. I remember, obviously, Yogi Berra Day when he came back in 1999, and then in the playoffs. I remember in 1999 him sitting in on some of the meetings, both the hitters' meetings, and George Steinbrenner, the late, great George Steinbrenner, was in on some of those hitters' meetings. I wonder if you remember. I remember those as being pretty funny, and Yogi would chime in here and there. Chris Chambliss was the hitting coach back then, and, Yogi really wanted to still be a part of it. He still was a coach and a player right down to the end of it. I was wondering if you remember some of those hitting meetings before the playoffs in 1999.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was always instrumental in a lot of our success on and off the field, but he just loved just talking baseball and just being simplistic about it. I remember talking hitting with him, and because I was kind of just a line drive hitter, I used my hands, and as you know, he was one of the best bat ball hitters ever. Had great eye-hand coordination, but he would always say something to you, Coney, that just put you back in perspective, would get you back on track. And again, it wasn't a lot of technical stuff. It was just very basic and fundamental. He just always made you feel comfortable, and it would work. I remember talking about just hitting the ball through the middle and using your hands, and he was just great at that. So a Yankee true and true. From the legacy goes on and on and on. But he was so instrumental behind the scenes a lot of times, even when he wasn't managing and coaching, just being a part of those great Yankee teams.
Willie, we've talked a lot about Yogi today in terms of he just kept it simple when he played, when he managed, when he talked to people. And I'm wondering, did he ever say anything to you where it just struck you like, oh, that makes sense? I never thought of that before.
Yeah. Well, just in the basic approach. Again, we were both kind of hands hitters. And, he would always just tell me it's simple. It's somewhat of a Yogi is, but, see the ball, hit the ball, just very basic. And every time he said that to me, it just really just clicked to me or whatever, he just kept it simple. He always talked about, just staying hard through the middle and not being complicated about things. And it just really kind of eased your whole demeanor because, it wasn't that technical and it was very simple. But when Yogi Berra says it, it just all comes very clear to you because he was one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Willie, you were on that 1985 team, and I have to ask you a couple of questions about that. How surprised were you that he was fired after 16 games? And then also the fact that dismissal led to a 14-year absence from Yogi and the Yankee family.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it took so long for him to come back. But that was a tough time for us because we had a great ball club that year. Mr. Steinbrenner expected a lot of us, obviously, to win a championship, and we just got off to one of those sluggish starts. I still think we would have done okay as a team, but there was a lot of pressure to get out of the chutes real quick, and we just stammered right out of the gates, and Yogi took the hit for that. And I just remember, I've never seen a group of guys just collectively just be so distraught over a firing. I mean, that happens a lot, and some managers get let go, and you feel bad about it. But Yogi, it took us a long time to get over that because we knew we failed him. We knew we didn't come through for him, and he was the kind of guy that you love playing for. And we were looking forward to having a lot of fun that year under a great manager, and we just didn't get off to a good start. So when that happened, it kind of threw us off for a little bit of a loop. And then I just can't believe it. It took, almost 13, 14 years before he came back, guys?
Yeah, 14 years.
Oh, wow, I just can't believe that. And the people that really missed out on that is the fans. I mean, the players missed that, but he's beloved by everyone. You mention Yogi's name anywhere in this universe, people know Yogi Berra, and they know who he is, and that character, that face, the body, the whole thing, and it just brings a smile to your face. So when he came back, later on, I just remember the ovation he got there, and you can just see that the fans were like, we love you, Yogi, and we're so happy you're back.
What did that mean to you that day when he came back after that long absence? Because you were there for part of the absence, and all of a sudden there he is. He's back.
For me and all of us. I mean, I'd seen him over the years because I'd seen him at different charity functions and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of stayed in touch a little bit. But I just kept hoping and praying that something would be rectified eventually, and he'd be back with us. But we all were just elated that Yogi was back because again, he's beloved by everyone, and we just wanted him to be back with the team that he should be with.
Well, tremendous moments that we're talking about, Willie, and always great to see you and have you on the program. We certainly appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us.
Well, thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk about my man. I mean, again, I'm going to miss him, but, for all the fans that haven't been down to the museum, please go check out the Yogi Berra Museum because it's a legacy of him and just great baseball. So thank you for having me, guys. You take